Yo, we're doing some sirloin tip roasts, some top sirloin steaks, some chuck tender roasts, and some rump roasts. Just waiting for some people to get in here before we start cutting. Alright, let's get to it. Start off with a sirloin tip, the knuckle. How long am I working? I think it was like 2 o'clock about here, so I have 3 more hours. So this is your knuckle, also known as your sirloin tip. This piece of felt right here is the first piece that I take off. Throw it away, it's just skin basically. From there we'll go in, we'll start taking all this ugly gunk off. Stringy, bloody, nasty stuff. Throw that away. Don't ever want that. From there, we'll just go in and start prettying it up. Hello. Hope everyone's Thursday's going good. My Friday, so I know my Thursday is going fantastic. All right, from there, got it looking all nice and pretty. We'll just go in that where that felt was. I use that as my center divider. We'll just go and we'll cut it right in half. We got 1 and 2. Take this tip of fat off right here. Now these aren't on sale, so I don't want to leave them whole. This is your sirloin tip. So we'll cut these into smaller pieces. Take this little chunk of fat off right here. Just go and split it. And from that we got 1, 2, 3, 4 sirloin tip roasts. If you were wanting to cut those as steaks, you can just go and you can just start cutting from there. But we're leaving these as roasts. Yes, this is beef. It was the sirloin tip, also known as the knuckle. What do we want next? Do we want a top sirloin or a flat for rump roasts? Those look bussin'. Should be bussin'. Top sirloin, alright. This is a choice grade, so we got a nice big old chunk of meat right here. Start off, we got this piece of felt right here. Just go in and take that off. From there we'll go and we'll start taking this fat off because I need to get into here to pull the cap off. So we'll go and we'll start just all fat right here, no worries. Still just all fat. Fat. Still fat. Take that ugly piece out. Alright, once you get enough of that fat out, you can start separating. Once it stop pulling, you find where it's just fat, and just cut right along that. And this is your picanha. This is your regular top sirloin. From there, you just go and start taking this really thin layer of fat or silver skin out. Thank you for everyone who's joined. If you're not following, go ahead and hit that follow button. I got a YouTube too, so go subscribe to that as well. Grab that piece of fat right there. Now if it's peeling off, I usually just take it off because then it's just going to start peeling off the steak. So there's no reason in keeping a piece of fat off if it's already falling off. But from that, we have, this is the front. This fat capping I usually leave on for the back. But this front also has this piece of tendon right here. And we come in here and we'll take off this front piece because it's really just ugly in there. You don't want to sell that as a steak. We'll come in and take the chunks of meat out of this, make that into stew meat. The rest of that can just go into grind. I'm gonna go grab my bigger knife just because that tendon's kind of hard to cut through with the smaller knife. You're inspiring me. I'm glad I can inspire someone. That makes me really happy. Don't need to wipe the blade off, but I'm just gonna do it so you guys don't yell at me. From there, we'll just go in and start cutting our steaks. There you got your regular top sirloin steak. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Thursday. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. This back end really isn't that much meat there, but I need a little bit of fat for my trim, so I'm just gonna throw all that in my bucket. Let's go and tray these up so I can get them out of my way. Make the small one into an actual small package. We'll go. Top sirloin steaks, your family pack. Now the picanha is 100% more tender. You get the most bang for your buck when it's for as cheap as a top sirloin is compared to a ribeye filet in New York. I mean, not really New York, but now we have our picanha. We have this piece right here. It's just all fat up through this whole piece right here. So we're gonna go and just start by taking that piece off. Fat. Now you'll go and get right underneath the silver skin right here. Got some just fat right here, just take that off. That's your trimmed up picanha. Now, it would look like that you would start cutting it from right here. Wrong. Start cutting it from here. So what we'll do is, we'll come and we'll square it up. Take that fat off. Use that for stew. Get rid of this other junk over here. And then you'll go in and start cutting your top sirloin strips. They almost look like New York. 100% more tender than in New York. If you can grab your picanha top sirloin over your regular top sirloin, do it every time. Every time. These are hidden gem right here. My favorite kind of meat is a ribeye. I wouldn't even put a New York in my top 5. Highly overrated, 100% in my opinion. Now, since I don't think it's gonna fill up a whole big one of these. Oh nope, we can definitely do that. Okay, so just come up and trim a little bit of this fat off, just a little bit. If you aren't subscribed to my YouTube, make sure you go hit the link in my bio. Go subscribe. And those are your, if I can get them to stay. It's your picanha steaks. Sirloin cut, yep, that was the top sirloin. Also, that last little bit was the picanha. Is this my shop? Nope. I am a grocery store meat department manager. Chuck tender roasts or rump roasts next. Tray these up while I'm waiting. See for you guys' reply. If you're going to dehydrate and make jerky, use a eye of round or your top round, inside round. It makes the best jerky. Chuck tender roast, all right. You guys got hamburger steaks? I don't think I've ever heard of a hamburger steak. All my trim that I accumulate throughout the day, I grind that into hamburger. This bag is filled with chuck tender roast though. Got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. Yep. A London broil, that comes from your inside, your top round. So it's the same thing, still good for, so yeah. Good for making jerky. Cooked steak with, it would be a ribeye. But first off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this felt off right here. There's usually little pieces of bone in with it, so it's usually just my priority to get that off so I'm not getting any bits of bone in with my trim. This isn't my shop. I'm just a grocery store meat department manager. My goal is to eventually have my own shop one day. Little strip of bone right here. But with the chuck tender roast, all we're doing here, we're just taking off all this silver skin and fat. The pretty lean roast that we sell. depending on how ugly this back end is, I'll sometimes leave it on or leave it off. It looks like this tendon's pretty ugly, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take that off. And that's your chuck tender roast. 1 down, 4 to go. The tri-tip, just as it is, it's just tri-tip. There's no other name for it. That's a really good piece of meat. I'll buy those as a whole roast. And then go and throw it on my barbecue and smoke it. And then cut it down into steaks once it's done. We have other steaks on sale right now, so I'm not cutting any tri-tip this week, or for the right now. Still got a roast out on my counter. Thinking probably Monday or Tuesday I should be going live and trimming up some tri-tips. Is my plan. Looks like this tendon's pretty ugly back here, so we'll go and take that end off. It's 2 down. So we don't sell to any other shops. We're just a grocery store, so we sell to just the everyday people. But we focus on fresh. Unlike Walmart. Walmart, everything already comes in pre-cut. The only thing Walmart does, I think, is throw a price tag on it. You won't ever see me buy meat from Walmart, ever. Just asking to be poisoned. Got another bone right here. I can't tell you where my shop is located. I haven't been given the okay to do that. But I will say that I live in Idaho. Hey, you have a good day too. I've also been thinking about getting a post office box for if anyone would like to send me like a seasoning they'd like me to use in a video, or they'd like to send me like a hat, shirt. I'm not sure if I should though, because I'm not sure if I have anyone who would want to send me anything. So if you think that's a good idea, let me know if I should get a P.O. box. You could send me mail, and I can, on my days off, I can go live and read mail, fan mail. For anyone who's just joining, this is the chuck tender roast. Is it busting or not? So this roast isn't like as good as your tri-tip or your actual chuck roast, but I would buy it over a sirloin tip or a flat. Or your rump roast. But I don't normally buy those in the first place. Ugly tendon end. Let's do that. Pineapple. Banana. If you're not following, hit that follow button. If you're new here and you have gone and hit that follow button, thank you. You are new here, I also have a YouTube. Go subscribe to that YouTube. More content to come. Focus on doing whole breakdowns for you guys. Do some fishing, some cooking. Apple, orange. Hunting season comes, I'm hoping I can do like a whole deer breakdown, antelope breakdown. Fishing, I'm gonna fillet some fish for you guys. So this is a chuck tender roast. This is from the beef. Grape, apricot. Get these out of the way. All right, now the last piece. It's the beef flat, also known as your rump roasts. I saw someone ask about a brisket. My shop, my store doesn't actually normally carry brisket. You can't get as good as a deal as all the other stores in the neighboring towns, so we'll just kind of lose money on it. But a fun fact, I can't even get a brisket anywhere out of any of the stores in my area. One place I haven't looked is Costco. But when I do eventually find a brisket, I will be doing a video of it at home. Cooking it, smoking it, whole breakdown for you guys. My favorite meat is a ribeye. Yeah, it's a decent sized chunk of meat. But what we're gonna do here is I like taking the felt off of every piece of meat first, and that's usually located right up in here towards the tip. Take that felt off right there. Who do I get my meat from? Our supplier is Associated. And that's all I know. You don't need to wipe your blade off after using a steel. If I did, it would turn it black. I don't see any black there. But I'm just doing it for you guys. Next off, I'll start by taking all this top layer of gunk out. This tail's usually mismatched, so I'll usually go and just square it up. Next I'll go, and this piece right here, it digs into the meat a little bit, so if you don't get underneath it a lot, it'll leave a strip of silver right along the side of it. So you got to get right underneath it. See the silver piece right here? Right underneath it. Take this out right here. And that's how you trim up your flat. And then you go, take a roast off, take a roast off, take a roast off. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 roasts, 4 rump roasts from your flat. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go subscribe. Got a bunch of content coming out in the future. If you miss a live while I'm on TikTok, I'm gonna try and post it to my YouTube. The video quality pulling it from TikTok though and putting it to YouTube isn't that great. But I want to put that out there just for whoever's missed me going live. I'm hungry now. I'll eat when I get home. But I'm gonna go put these over on the trays and then we can go take a look at all the stuff that we just cut. So now let's come over here and take a look at what we have accumulated. So right here we got our top sirloin. It's regular top sirloin steaks. Got the picanha strips right there. We got our rump roast. Got our chuck tender. And then we got our sirloin tip. Take a look at this. Now next on the list, I would come right here.